good morning to you from Little League Southeast Park in Warner Robins, Georgia, and welcome to the Southeastern Region Tournament as South Carolina takes on North Carolina here on ESPN3. Great to have you with us, everybody. Drew Felios alongside the former Pittsburgh Pirate, Mike Lavalier. Mike, we're playing baseball for the next 6 days. We'll take the champion of this tournament and send him on to the Little League World Series in Williamsport. For this game one, it's North Carolina versus South Carolina. We should see some fireworks in this matchup.
Well, last night we had some big thunderstorms rolled through the area. Today, this morning, I'm looking for the same kind of noise out on the field. North Carolina and South Carolina both have power-packed lineups.
Yeah, especially South Carolina. Terrence Gist playing center field. This young man does everything.
Well, Terrence is going to bat second, power to all fields, able to be a quick strike offense just within himself.
And for North Carolina, the cleanup batter, Blake Daniels, one of the premier players in this tournament.
Well, he's the cleanup guy, and like you said, he's a guy that comes up to the ball, up to the plate, and he's able to hit the ball all over the place. And the power guy in their lineup, you expect him to go deep at least a few times in this tournament.
A double elimination tournament. Both of these teams want to get off to a good start. South Carolina and North Carolina coming up next on ESPN3.
Drive into summer with exceptional offers on our full lineup. Lease the 7-seat Infiniti QX60 for $399 a month, now through August 31st.
Quicker, smarter, earlier, fresher, harder. And yeah, even on Sundays. If that's not what you think of when you think of the United States Postal Service, watch us deliver.
So South Carolina and North Carolina in this first game at Little League Southeast Park here in Warner Robins. As we get set to get underway, and on the mound for North Carolina, Christian Doherty. Mike, what does he bring to the hill?
Well, the big fella is to throw somewhere in the mid-60s, 65, may touch 68 miles an hour. Got a good slurve and changeup, two different kinds of changeup, a circle change and a split.
And leading off for South Carolina will be Gage Lehman. Lehman hitting at the top of the lineup. South Carolina has not sent a team to the Little League World Series since 1950. It's been a long time, this team trying to make history, as Lehman will lead it off. Terrence Gist hits second. Edmondson and Chapman, Galinsky, Johnson, Tumblin, Williams, and David Mershon at the bottom of the lineup. So North Carolina in the field to start this contest. South Carolina hitting first, and we are underway from Warner Robins. First pitch is in for strike one.
Well, and everybody can now take a deep breath. I take myself back to 12 years old playing, and I never got to this far in my Little League adventures. But here, a beautiful stadium that we're playing in. Obviously, a lot on the line. These kids are 12 years old, and I tell you one thing, I don't know how any of them slept last night.
South Carolina, tremendous power all the way through the lineup. Very athletic team as well. Trying to get the offense going here early. 0-2 now, and Lehman puts it into left field for a base hit. So South Carolina's got their leadoff hitter aboard.
Yeah, the offense from South Carolina really balanced all the way up 1 through 9. This young man coming up, Gist. This is some kind of player. We'll take a look at this, a little inside out. That's beautiful hitting by the little left-hander. That's taking a page right out of the Spanky book. Back whenever I used to hit, some pitchers used to I used to agitate them. Right in on the knuckles, fisted in the left.
Terrence Gist, check swing, hits it to third, played by Bass, and the force out at second base, so there's one away. It didn't look like Gist wanted to swing there, still was able to get a piece and nearly put it in the outfield.
Well, it's just an excuse me, oops swing. Got a breaking ball first pitch, was looking for the fastball, ended up check swing. Nice play at third base. Record that initial out.
Now Alex Edmondson steps up to bat. He takes strike one. A little bit high there, but called a strike. Edmondson's got tremendous power. Takes a big cut there, and it's strike two.
Well, Christian Doherty, a big kid out on the mound, and kind of throws from 3/4, which really makes it a little bit tougher on right-handed hitters. Get that little extra angle, and the tendency is to just bail just a little bit. When he's throwing that ball in there 65, 68 miles an hour, it's getting on top of you in a hurry.
This one put in fair play. Dylan Pollock comes out to play it. Over to first, and he's safe. So a good job hustling down the line by Edmondson, and now there's runners on first and second with one out.
Yeah, that's what we call a swinging bunt. The area in front of home plate, little soggy still from the rain, but the catcher comes out and makes a nice throw. Just bang, bang at first base. Great hustle to get that base hit. Of course, when you're looking at things, the number 3 hitter, you're looking for him to, pretty much tear the walls down. Not looking for that, but again, I don't think anybody's going to argue.
Now it's Ryan Chapman's turn.
Tomorrow,
one outside.
Tomorrow after, today after the game, he's going to be telling everybody, yeah, that was a rocket, man. That was just an absolute shot. Just miss hitting it out of the ballpark.
Chapman takes a big swing there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This Northwood team played in the Southeast Regional last year, so they were here. Went 1-2 in Warner Robins. It's always good, Mike, to get the experience of coming to this ballpark, because as soon as you drive in, it's at a different level.
It really is. In the stadium, and really this is a stadium. I don't think I played in a place this nice until I was in college, and this is a treat for not only the players but the fans, and I'd have to say the announcers are absolutely comfy here right behind home plate.
Chapman's down on strikes. That's the first strikeout of the game for Christian Doherty, and now there's 2 away. So a good chance here for South Carolina to get some early runs as Braden Galinsky comes up to the plate.
Nice first pitch, breaking ball. I tell you, whenever I was 12 years old, too, it was pretty much fastball and another fastball. It really, hadn't progressed to where, secondary pitches. There was a few kids that had learned the curveball. I don't think anybody knew what a changeup was. And that's, something that these kids, I think the instruction's better, the coaching's better. And I tell you what, there's some talented 12, 13-year-olds out here.
This one's hit to right, and this is going to get through. No, played by the second baseman, and a great job by Cody Mercer to get Galinsky at first. So South Carolina makes some noise, but a great job by the North Carolina defense. Cody Mercer catching the deflection and throwing him out. North Carolina.
Listen, Andrew, I've been Rookie of the Year, and you can't let early success make you complacent.
I hear you, Dame. That's why I'm starting fresh this season.
Well, that new Adidas gear from Foot Locker is a good start. You got to evolve, because you don't want to end up like Bobby Butter.
I'm like mayonnaise because I'm smooth but dangerous to leave open. Did I do that?
He had all the talent in the world.
I'm like propane. I'm going to be in your grill all day. Come on.
What happened, brother?
Butter!
Are you ready for ultra high-def TVs with mind-blowing picture quality? So ready.
Ready for color that's realer than real?
We're ready.
Ready for 4 times the resolution? Ready for the future of television?
I was born ready.
With this selection, oh, we're ready. Let us show you the difference. Come in and see the picture quality for yourself. Expert service, unbeatable price, Best Buy.
New at Applebee's. Get your favorite apps half price twice a day, every weekday and late night. Yeah, things are definitely looking up. Get half price apps late afternoons and, as always, late night. New and only at Applebee's.
When you travel, we help you make all kinds of connections. Connections you almost miss. And ones you never thought you'd make. We help connect where you are. To places you'd never thought you'd go.
North Carolina set to hit for the first time as North Carolina battles South Carolina here in Game 1 of the Southeast Regional. And there's the pitcher for South Carolina, Alex Edmondson, dealing here this morning.
Well, the 5'11" Edmondson throws absolute gas. He's 78 to 80 miles an hour. Just watching him warm up right now. And I tell you what, he looks like just like a big leaguer with the motion. He also throws a curveball and not too much of a changeup. Of course, when you're throwing that hard, why throw the changeup? It's almost a break to the hitter.
Yeah, very big kid, 5'11", nearly 6 feet tall at only 13 years old.
Yeah, just again, intimidating with just the size. But whenever you can throw the ball that hard, I tell you one thing, this is going to be quite the challenge for South Carolina to mark against him.
North Carolina lineup, very tight-knit group. These young men have been playing together since they were 3 and 4 years old. Waddell will lead it off, followed by Bass, Dienis, Blake Daniels, Tyler Godwin, Thomas Lane, Christian Doherty, Dylan Pollock, and Cody Mercer. Chase Waddell, the leadoff hitter, he hit over 700 in this Southeast Regional a year ago. Strike one to Waddell.
Alex Edmondson, if he continues with this, he just picked that outside corner and just absolute gas.
And a strike on the outside corner as well. Got to figure, Mike, it's not the same distance pitching from pitcher's mound to home plate, so 70 miles an hour feels like 100 miles an hour sometimes.
The actual numbers, I mean, it's pretty crazy whenever you're looking at a 75-mile-an-hour fastball, let's say, from 46 feet, and this is the distance that we're using for this tournament. The equivalent speed on the big league level is 99. So we're approaching Aroldis Chapman type numbers here from Edmondson.
See Kevin Tumlin there in the dugout, the manager of the South Carolina team, and swing and a miss. So Waddell is down swinging. First strikeout of the game for Alex Edmondson.
Yeah, pretty much just stayed away. That fastball got a little bit of run on it. We'll take a peek at it, and it really just stayed out there. But that's good old-fashioned baseball. Just, here's my best fastball. I know you're a good hitter. Try to hit it.
Now it's Tyson Bass's turn. Big smile as he comes up to the plate. He'll watch one outside. That's always fun to watch the expressions on the faces of these young men.
I tell you one thing, that's outstanding right there. I don't know if that's a smile out of excited to be here or a smile thinking, how am I going to possibly put this ball in play off of this big kid?
Late strike call there. So 1 ball, 1 strike.
So now's the time where I start to brag on my catcher, Braden Galinsky. This is a big part of having success on the mound, is having a kid that's back there that's able to catch them. It's just you can have some pitchers throw all kinds of pitches, a lot of velocity. If you don't have that catcher that can keep it in front of them, it turns into a track meet.
1-2 now to Bass. And a curveball got him for strike 3. Oh, boy, that pitch just had some nasty movement, and Tyson Bass just can shake his head on that one.
Well, we call that the old jelly legger. Here, you watch the flinch right there. Whoops, there goes the knees. And that is just so difficult. You know, again, you don't have nearly half a second, less than a half a second, to decide if you're going to swing or not. So when he throws that deuce on you, that big breaker, little or no chance.
Edmondson in the high 70s. Some of these pitches will touch 80 miles per hour. When he brings out that fast, sharp curve, man, that is pretty dominant stuff.
I mean, 80 miles an hour, you know, really isn't too far off of, you know, some of the big league pitchers, the finesse guys, you know, the John Tudors, the Jamie Moyers of my generation. They were throwing in the low 80s, and they're throwing from 60 feet 6 inches. Here, he's 14 feet closer than there and throwing basically the same speed.
Dienis takes one inside. So now it's 3-1 to Jacob Dienis. Blake Daniels is on deck. Alex Edmondson showing some pretty good stuff here in the first inning for South Carolina. And that one just off the catcher's knee pad, and it'll be ball 4. So first base runner of the game for North Carolina.
And talking with Kevin Tumlin before the ball game, he said, you know, Edmondson, if he ever gets in trouble is whenever he loses the strike zone. So this might be something that North Carolina might have to work on, see if they can get that pitch count up and get him out of there.
Blake Daniels fouls one back. North Carolina, as a state, Mike, sent 4 teams historically to the Little League World Series. First one in 1952, and it wasn't until 1998 till they sent their second. Also 2002 and 2004. Teams from North Carolina represented in Williamsport. 2 strikes that count to Blake Daniels. And Daniels swings at strike 3. So Alex Edmondson takes care of North Carolina in the first. We've played one here in Warner Robins. No score in the Southeast Regional. Game 1.
Drive into summer with exceptional offers on our full lineup. Lease the 7-seat Infiniti QX60 for $399 a month, now through August 31st.
You ever feel like you're spinning?
Like you're stuck in the same place in life? Just going round and round and round? Yeah, man. Been there.
No, actually spinning.
Oh, we can fix that by going to Midas. They have a great selection of tires. Sorry, Doug, I thought you were trying to get deep.
Nah.
Trust the Midas Touch. For tires, brakes, oil, everything.
If you qualify for a Sittingham's card today, I can offer you no interest for 24 months.
Well, thanks to the tools and help at Experian.com, I know I have an 812 FICO score, so I definitely qualify. So, what else can you give me?
Same-day delivery.
The Southeast Regional. Warner Robins, Georgia. Drew Felios, Mike LaValliere. First inning in the books, no score on the board. And now Christian Doherty takes his turn at what could be a pitcher's duel here today. This one, a strike call. Skip Johnson steps in for South Carolina. Johnson swings at strike 2.
Yeah, Christian Doherty, a little different type of pitcher than Edmondson, utilizing that breaking ball just a little bit more.
South Carolina team very tight-knit, described by their coach Kevin Tumlin. His team won a state title in coach's pitch. Having similar success here, playing with the big boys. There's a strike call as Johnson heads to the dugout, and Christian Doherty rings up another.
Well, you said it best, Drew. The pitching has dominated so far. Here's the fastball, just barely nipping that outside corner.
Now Ben Tumlin. 6, 7, and 8 here in the second for South Carolina.
You know, Drew, I'd have to venture to say, if I was facing these young men when I was 12 years old, I don't think I would have progressed like I did. Never would have made it to the big leagues. These guys here are just, they have outstanding stuff.
Mike, you played Little League Baseball long before your days with the Pittsburgh Pirates and St. Louis Cardinals and Chicago White Sox. What did it teach you?
Well, I know one thing. It's you know, something about being part of a team. You know, all your buddies. Back then, we played a lot of baseball. We're on the field all the time. Of course, this is in New Hampshire, and you know you're limited to when you can get out on the field. So I think that was the thing that I appreciated it more.
Ball popped up and out of play.
Put it this way, I can remember it raining, practice out, and I'd be crying because it rained practice out. That's how much I love baseball at this age. And it continued, and it was just a fabulous start and something that I was very fortunate to be able to continue.
And a swing and a miss. So Tumlin strikes out for South Carolina, 2 down. And right now, Christian Doherty starting to go to work on the bottom of this order.
Well, here's the breaker, and after picking that outside corner with the fastball, you commit and way out front on that front foot. When you're looking for that heater and you get that breaking ball, again, it's so very, very difficult to stay back, and that's really your only chance to hit that. In fact, the best way to hit the breaking ball, Drew, don't miss the fastball. That's a very good advice I got from one of my hitting coaches.
Pretty good advice there. Nate Williams now, the 8th hitter for South Carolina. There you see the heavy clouds starting to move in here at Warner Robins. This area was just pounded by thunderstorms last night. This ball back to the pitcher. Doherty tosses over to first, and a 1-2-3 inning. So North Carolina coming up to bat, 0-0 through 1.5 here in Warner Robins.
Imagine, these kids won't have to remember passwords or obsess about security. For them, every screen is meant to be touched, and web pages are meant to be scribbled on and shared. They'll expect their devices to listen to them and talk, and sing, tell a funny joke. And as they grow and get better at things, their technology will too. They'll do things their parents never even dreamed of. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. The future starts now, for all of us. Get started today. Windows 10, a more human way to do.
Before earning enough cash back from Bank of America to buy a new gym bag. Before earning 1% cash back everywhere, every time. And 2% back at the grocery store. Even before he got 3% back on gas. Kenny used his Bank AmeriCard Cash Rewards credit card to join the Wednesday Night League. Because he loves to play hoops, not jump through them. That's the excitement of rewarding connections. Apply online or at a Bank of America near you.
Lots of zeros on the board right now. Taylor, South Carolina has a couple of base hits in the first, but no damage done as Wilson City, North Carolina comes up to bat here in the bottom of the second. Let's take a look at kind of the tail of the tape of Wilson City, North Carolina. There you see nearly 50,000, located 40 miles east of Raleigh, and the birthplace of Major League Baseball player Freddie Bynum.
Yeah, throughout the country, we're seeing cities, towns from all over being represented here at Little League Baseball. And that's one of the fun things for me. We're going to see some a team from West Virginia today that's minuscule compared to Wilson. So it's neat to when you hear the coaches and the parents talk about their towns, and they're so proud of these kids, and it's a great community feeling.
Yeah, you're talking about Bridgeport, West Virginia, small town of under 10,000, just outside of Morgantown. 1 ball, 1 strike now. Swing and a miss by Godwin. And that ball thrown so hard it went right to the backstop and then right back out to the pitcher's mound. And I believe the catcher got a little bit shaken up on that one.
Yeah, Brendan Galinsky, sometimes when you get a foul tip, it really hits your fingers. And this one here, this is in his catching hand. So coach is going to go out there and take a peek at him. And it's one of the hazards is, catching somebody that's throwing this hard. If you don't catch it in the pocket, you certainly feel it. Yeah, I feel for you, young guy. And this one getting right off the end of the fingertip.
The longer you play that position, Mike, it is the toughest position to play in baseball. Do you learn better ways to protect yourself behind the plate?
Drew, if I knew better ways, believe me, I'd be sharing them with all the rest of the catchers. It's just part of the job description. You're in every play, which is fabulous. You've got something to say with the outcome of every game. But along goes with that is some bumps, some bruises. Again, those foul tips. You end up wearing a lot of pitches, and if you just think about it, there's probably 3 or 4 pitches of each game that you get hit: shoulders, knees, feet. And just think about going up to the plate knowing that you're going to get hit with a pitch 3 or 4 times every game. So it takes a special kind of player to want to get back behind and take that punishment.
So Edmondson's going to toss a couple to Galinsky, just make sure he is okay.
Yeah, this takes me back to Shea Stadium. I remember in 1988 I was catching one of our pitchers, Mike Dunn, when I was with the Pirates, and Mike had a real hard, heavy sinker, threw, about 89, 90 miles an hour, and it was a real raw day in New York, about 40 degrees, almost some sleet, and he threw him about 7 or 8 sinkers in a row. It felt like I was catching a bowling ball. Okay, so pitch number 9, I called the breaking ball because my hand hurt. It was the first time I ever called a pitch, not having any reason other than my own personal safety and comfort. It was a little embarrassing, but hey, I had to do what I had to do.
So we resume play. Tyler Godwin, swing and a miss for strike 3, and you can tell even the delay doesn't throw Alex Edmondson off his game.
No, just a good game plan here with Edmondson throwing the breaking ball and really just absolutely nasty on that outside corner. To throw that hard and have that good a breaking ball at 46 feet is absolutely devastating.
Now Thomas Lane's turn. 5, 6, and 7 in this inning for North Carolina. Lane swinging a miss.
This reminds me of whenever you watch like a Max Scherzer pitch or a Corey Kluber, it's like they're throwing wiffle balls up there and mix them in with absolute great velocity.
One-two pitch on the way. And Lane swinging a miss for strike 3. Make that now 5 strikeouts. Every out has been a strikeout. Alex Edmondson right now is going to town.
Well, one way to quiet bats has moved the ball around the zone. He's thrown the fastball outside corner, break a ball outside corner. That one, the fastball in on his hands. Throwing that hard, moving it around the zone that well. Really making it tough.
So now it's pitcher on pitcher. Christian Doherty comes up to the plate from North Carolina. Big swing there. Playing for the right to advance to Williamsport. This is the first game of what is going to be a very long week of baseball. Double elimination tournament, unlike pool play of last year. This year, Mike, different format to determine a champion of this Southeast region.
Well, it is, and something that I think it's a great change. I've never been a huge fan of pool play. I like to have every single game count, and this is what we're getting, where there's no chance to just maybe milk some of your pitchers. Now you've got to go out there and try to win every ball game.
Doherty can't catch up to that one. What a curveball shown by Alex Edmondson. South Carolina fans loving it. No score. We've played 2 in Warner Robins.
You ever feel like you're spinning?
Like you're stuck in the same place in life? Just going round and round and round? Yeah, man. Been there.
No, actually spinning.
Oh, we can fix that by going to Midas. They have a great selection of tires. Sorry, Doug, I thought you were trying to get deep.
Nah.
Trust the Midas Touch for tires, brakes, oil, everything.
If you qualify for a Sittingham's card today, I can offer you no interest for 24 months.
Well, thanks to the tools and help at Experian.com, I know I have an 812 FICO score, so I definitely qualify. So, what else can you give me?
Same-day delivery. The Ottoman?
Thank you.
FICO scores are used in 90% of credit decisions, so get your credit swagger on. Go to Experian.com, become a member of Experian Credit Tracker, and take charge of your score.
Leading off out of the third for South Carolina, second baseman number 3, David Burshaw.
Start the third inning. South Carolina, North Carolina, the Southeast Regional from Warner Robins. Great to have you with us this morning on ESPN 3. South Carolina, Taylor's South Carolina in particular. 22,000 plus, 106 miles north of Columbia. And Joseph Shoeless Joe Jackson, one of the great names in baseball history.
Well, way back when, part of the Black Sox scandal.
Time I think of that name, I think of Field of Dreams. Best sports movies of all time. David Mershon leads it off for South Carolina. He's in the 9-hole, and then it'll be the top of the order. This is a dribbler hit to first. Blake Daniels takes care of it, and there's one away.
Well, right now you can go back to the dugout and high-five everybody because you put the ball in play. We've seen a lot of punch-outs, and all that thunder that I was predicting has turned into perhaps a slow drizzle, maybe even a mist of offense, as these two pitchers have just absolutely dominated everything.
Now lineup adjustment made. Looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter here. And South Carolina will make an adjustment. Take a look at some of the rules here. Mandatory play contingent on the number of players a team has at the beginning of the game. The team's got 13 or 14. Each player must hit once. The team has 12 or fewer players. Each player must play 6 consecutive defensive outs and bat once, making sure everybody participates in Little League Baseball.
Well, and you're absolutely right, and that's one of the things that, you know, as a parent, I think you got to like that. You come to the ball game, you're cheering for everybody. Obviously, you want to see your son or daughter play, and they're getting a chance at least getting one at bat and playing in the field. So, you know, it's not going to be riding that bench that whole game.
So Bradley Lewis right back to the pitcher, Christian Doherty. He makes the play, and there's 2 down. So Lewis comes up to bat, Mike, and sometimes when you're facing a dominating pitcher, just swing at that first pitch, see if you can get him on one.
Well, that's the thing, is that first one might be the only good one you get, and that's the old, here, I'm going to try to get him before he gets me. Both of these pitchers, again, using their fastball to set up that breaking ball, and the breaking balls have been devastating. I don't know if there's been a breaking ball that's been put in play yet. So, hey, get that fastball and try to do your best with it.
Gage Lehman, his favorite food is SpaghettiOs. I always wanted more of those when I was a kid. Your favorite food, Mike, as a kid?
Well, as a kid, I had a thing. I grew up, of course, in Manchester, New Hampshire, French background. My lucky meal was my mom used to cook me crepes. Just a little bit of maple syrup on it, and that was kind of like my big meal. If I had crepes, I knew I was going to have a good game.
Eating crepes at 12 years old. Lucky you.
Well, it's the French-Canadian side of me, and that's where we grew up. And it was kind of a common, you couldn't find pancakes anywhere. They were always, you know, the nice tasty crepes.
Terrence Gist, a fielder's choice his last time up, takes the ball, and full count now, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Eating crepes as a youngster. Very fine dining, Mike, from you. Strike 3, Gist down swinging. And once again, Christian Doherty does his job for North Carolina as Dylan Pollock, the catcher, trots back to the dugout. Through 2.5, still no score in Warner Robins.
I'm coming. Let's go, Dad. Who's ready to go to Wally World?
It's a long way down Holiday Road. Holiday Road.
Honey, a blonde in a convertible? Seriously?
Built for families, designed for drivers. The QX60 from Infiniti, with a 3rd row and seating for 7.
Imagine, these kids won't have to remember passwords or obsess about security. For them, every screen is meant to be touched, and web pages are meant to be scribbled on and shared. They'll expect their devices to listen to them and talk, and sing, tell a funny joke. And as they grow and get better at things, their technology will too. They'll do things their parents never even dreamed of. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. The future starts now. For all of us. Get started today.
Alex Edmondson doing his thing for South Carolina. Fastballs, curveballs, the full repertoire.
Well, he's faced 7 hitters, and 6 of them have gone back quietly towards the dugout. And here you see, again, devastating fastball that he's just throwing it right by these guys. And then he drops that breaking ball on him. And you know, right now, he continues. You know, it's just going to be a matter of if he runs out of pitches, whether they take him out. Because right now, it's just unbelievable to sit up here and watch this thinking, you know what, I don't know if anybody's got a chance.
Dylan Pollock leads it off for North Carolina, 8-9-1. here in the third. Mike, you watch a lot of youth baseball in your time at Walt Disney World, calling games during the summer and calling games throughout the high school ranks as well. You ever seen a pitcher with this good of stuff? As that ball gets away, they try to make the play at first. And Dylan Pollock going to be the second base runner of the game for North Carolina. Just as I was about to say how dominant Alex Edmondson was, he makes a little bit of a mistake there.
Well, they're again, a good pitch up and in. He had gotten 2 strikes, via this fastball in the same way. Catcher Braden Galinsky couldn't quite handle it. Good throw may have got him, but good hustle by Pollock to get down there. And you see Galinsky upset with himself, and the ball went back to the backstop.
Now Galinsky and his pitcher get together. It's a good sign right there, is Edmondson keeping his catcher in the game.
Well, and that's it. That's what being a good teammate's about. Going in there and saying, hey, I got this. Don't worry about it, man. I'm going to go ahead and take care of things. And that's a great attitude to have, rather than, be out on the mound and, kind of putting your head down. You got to rely on these fielders, and especially the catcher if you're a punch-out guy. And that's something that, that's a fine thing to see, is the big guy taking care of the little guy.
There you see Chris Bass, the head coach of Wilson City Little League in North Carolina. As now Cody Mercer comes up to bat for North Carolina now with a base runner. Trying to lay down a bunt. This one right down the line. Perfectly done and safe for first.
You could not draw this up any better. Cody Mercer with just one of the sweetest bunts you'll ever see. Had great pace to it, wasn't bunted too hard. And the placement, just unbelievable. Right, hugged the line the whole way. He stays inside the runner's box. Everything was just perfect. There's nothing that anybody can do about this for South Carolina. That's just a straight up base hit.
Now a little bit of a buzz coming from the North Carolina dugout. Top of the order, Chase Waddell.
Well, you get the right guy up. You've turned the lineup over. 8 and 9 have gotten on the base for you. Now you're coming up to one of your best hitters. You got to think they got something going on here.
Had a good piece of that one, Waddell. And now sometimes, Mike, it just takes one hitter, and all of a sudden, a little bit of a confidence starts to brew in the dugout.
Well, a lot of times when you have teams of equal abilities, it's a matter of who blinks first. Somebody either executes a small ball bunt like that, maybe a miscue that they take advantage of. The whole key is 3 outs. As soon as you give another team that extra out and you're playing a quality team, you'll see that quality team take advantage. And that's what championships are made of. When you get that little break, you always take advantage.
Waddell swings, can't catch up to that one as Edmondson takes something off it. And it's the first out of the inning.
It's a good breaking ball. Again from Edmondson. That's the great equalizer. You can get runners on base, but if you're punching guys out, boy, I tell you one thing, that just, if you do anything, you can hide your defense. Right now, you've had 8 punch outs, and you know what? You know what that is? That's your defense. Being able to just sit on the bench. Yeah, really, you're not forcing them to make any plays. Other than the catcher, that's pretty much it.
No balls, 2 strikes now to Tyson Bass.
Let me correct myself. That's 7 punch outs. I get a little ahead of myself.
Bass swinging a miss. So for North Carolina, the bottom of the order gets it going. They toss it down to second, barely getting back. Here's Dylan Pollock. So North Carolina, the bottom of the order makes it happen, and now first 2 at the top can't reach base.
Take a peek, and you see there's the 8th punch out. Catcher Galinsky just a little bit too late. You see Bass with just kind of that smile again, but more, I think, in amazement of what he just saw from the last pitch.
Strike call to Jacob Dienis.
Jacob didn't care for the pitch.
Nice cutter that time. And it's 2 strikes. Dienis watches it outside. Pinch runner at second base for North Carolina is Eli Pope. So he has taken the place of Dylan Pollock on the base pass. This ball fouled off, so good job by Dienis to hang in.
And one of the things that you do have working for you if you're the hitter, when you have this kind of velocity, if you can square it up, this ball goes a long, long way. Pitcher's providing an awful lot of power for you.
Dienis watches this one, goes to the backstop, comes right back, and now the runners are caught up. Toss it to first, and a good job of hustling by Cody Mercer, sliding into first base.
Well, the backstop here at the ballpark, pretty close. And Pope kind of went, and then he all of a sudden puts on the brakes before he could do it. Cody Mercer, he's hung out to dry, and catcher Galinsky not quite quick enough to get him at first.
Full count now to Jacob Dienis, turning this into a quality at-bat. Alex Edmondson dealing here so far. Again, Dienis hanging in.
Yeah, that's a good pitch, and he had a heck of a swing at it. He makes contact with that, and we're going to see one way up on the bank.
Still no score here in Warner Robins. North Carolina with a good chance here with 2 outs, and Dienis draws the walk. They'll have the bases loaded, and Blake Daniels coming up to the plate.
Well, Jacob Dienis has certainly solved what Alex Edmondson is throwing up there. That's his second walk.
And looks like we could have a lineup adjustment here. Chris Bass once again comes out to make a substitute, and I believe we're going to have Colton Moats here is the pinch hitter for Blake Daniels. So Colton Moats going to come off the bench here, and the biggest situation so far in this game, Mike, bases loaded, 2 outs, and a chance to get some runs.
No, you're absolutely right. And the one thing, if I'm the coach, if we're a hitting coach in this situation, I try to take the pressure off my hitter by saying, look, when you come up there, all I want you to do is see the ball out of the pitcher's hand. That's going to enable you to get have the best chance to put the ball in play. Instead of looking at the situation, find the ball, put your best swing on it.
Moats gets a piece, and it's into right field for a base hit. North Carolina's on the scoreboard as they get 2. As Colton Moats comes through huge.
Well, Colton Moats wastes no time, gets the heater away, drills it into right field. They had the shift against them, hit it right through the shift. And I tell you one thing, that's it amazes me that you can come off the bench, hit that high 70 mile an hour fastball, just drill it in right field. He's fired up. His team's fired up. This is some good stuff right here.
Mike, I think you said it. Watch the ball out of the pitcher's hands. It looks like Colton Moats had that thing perfectly tracked, and he knew what to do with it. So Alex Edmondson, after 2 dominant innings, runs into a little bit of a jam here in the 3rd. And we're going to have another substitute as Chad Bean now comes to the plate.
Yeah, and you got to take a look. South Carolina may have had a chance to get out of this inning. They had some runners hung up that couldn't quite get that last out.
Near the pop of that mid for strike one. Interesting for North Carolina, the bottom of their batting order started this rally, and then guys off the bench pitch hitting have continued it. Role players coming up big here for Wilson City. This put to David Mershon, and Mershon takes care of the third out. North Carolina gets 2 big runs through 3 innings. It's 2-0 here in Warner Robins.
So this beauty can be yours with a down payment and 10% financing.
Oh, Larry, Lawrence. Thanks to the tools and help at Experian.com, I know I have a 798 FICO score. Oh, that's the sound of my interest rate going down. According to the score alert, my FICO score just went up to 816.
816.
816!
816! FICO scores are used in 90% of credit decisions, so get your credit swagger on. Go to Experian.com, become a member of Experian Credit Tracker, and take charge of your score.
Inning by North Carolina, and the big base hit by Colton Moats. 2 big RBIs. It's 2-0. North Carolina over South Carolina here on ESPN3. Drew Felios, Mike Lavalier, and Mike, after the first runs of this Southeast Regional, all of a sudden tons of life in this stadium.
That sure is, and that's what a little offense will do. Prior to that, we saw a lot of swings and misses. You had the players walking back, shaking their heads to the dugout, but North Carolina really put a nice inning together. They had some good at-bats where they had some walks. They played a little small ball, and eventually got that big hit from Moats to drive in those 2 runs.
How do you like Yoda? A little good luck charm there in the dugout. You know, the Star Wars movies are coming out in December.
I hadn't noticed Yoda. Yeah, not that any baseball players are superstitious or anything, but I'd have to say that there's some quirky things. Yeah, we take a look. Yoda watching the ball game.
The force right now is with North Carolina after that last inning. Sparked by the bottom of the order. And players off the bench. There's Peachtree City, the team out of Georgia. We'll see them later on.
Yeah, they're here. They've got our 7 o'clock ball game tonight, so doing a little bit of scouting. Actually, I think what it is the mom and dads are getting them out of the hotel room and say, hey, let's go to the ballpark, kids. But, all the coaches are here trying to learn something, try to getting an edge of watching some of these teams, maybe find some tendencies. There are some teams that have had history together, played against each other in the 10s, 11s, 12s. Now this year, I believe there's 4 of our teams that have had history against each other. So it's a little bit of scouting report from years past.
Start off the 4th inning with Alex Edmondson. Edmondson puts it in play. Tyson Bass, too late.
And Tyson Bass makes a big league effort on this ball. A little tapper by Edmondson, and he comes, charges, gives it the bare hand. Take a peek at this. I mean, there's some big league third basemen that want to make that good a play. But at the 60-foot bases, Edmondson safe at first base. You saw him as he crossed first base, his kind of head up in the air like, gee whiz, I really didn't want that, but hey, they need base runners.
Strike delivered. As this is Braden Buffington. He'll hit now for Ryan Chapman. So Buffington for Chapman here in the 4-hole. And takes one outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. A little bit late that time for strike 2. Christian Doherty not allowing a run up to this point. Misses outside.
Yeah, it's one of the challenges of all of these coaches in the tournament to make sure that they get all their hitters at bats. That's a tough thing to do whenever you got both pitchers kind of mowing the other side down. You look, all of a sudden you look up and it's like, wow, it's already here. I got to get some kids some at bats.
Perfect pitch by Doherty, sits down Buffington, and now there's 2 outs.
Going to take a peek at this last pitch. Great velocity, but for me, great location. It's one thing to throw hard, but whenever you can spot it up, that's whenever you get to that next level. As you get older, now you start developing those secondary pitches at the larger distances. And then that's whenever, again, you get the high school level, you get onto the big field at some point. But it all starts here. Locate your fastball. Again, throw it hard, but let's see if you can find the corners.
So there's 1 out. Said a moment ago there was 2. There is 1 out. And Brock Myers for South Carolina. Myers also coming off the bench, puts this one in the air. The right fielder Thomas Lane can't catch up to it. It's a fair ball. And now the runners for South Carolina advancing.
Yeah, nice job by the pinch hitter, Brock Myers. Hits this ball into right field, and just Thomas Lane just couldn't quite keep up or catch up to this ball. We had some sun, had some wind. He had to go a long way, and the ball just drops right on the line for a fair ball. And now South Carolina trying to answer. Give up 2. Hey, I'm going to try to get 2.
Strike 1 to Kip Johnson. See how Christian Doherty responds. This one put in play. Tough one. Everybody's going to be safe. Just no play to be made at first, and now the base is loaded with 1 out.
No, just you're right. No play anywhere. If anything, perhaps you could have let this ball roll. There was no play anywhere. Maybe you hit the cut of the grass and have a chance to go foul. But you're absolutely right. That was in no man's land. Another swinging bunt.
So now, biggest situation of the game. Ben Tumlin comes up for Taylors. And Northwood Little League out of South Carolina. This one going to the backstop. Everybody's going to stay. And it's key, Mike, if you're on first or you're on second, if you're going, you got to make sure the guy in front of you is going as well.
Well, that's you'll hear third base coaches all the time. don't run the runner off. And that's the one thing you have to keep in mind. Always look forward before you get to that next base.
Tomlin fouls it away.
Yeah, it seems like the Bats have gotten a late wake-up call, slept through the alarm for the first couple innings, and now it seems like, one hit here, one hit there, and before you know it, everybody's swinging the bat good.
Picture of concentration for Ben Tumlin. This one popped up. Third baseman comes over, and Tyson Bass able to squeeze it for out number 2.
Yeah, huge out for our North Carolina team. But they're not out of it. And this is, as a pitcher, this is where you really have to continue with your concentration. You've done a good job, got a little pop-up right there. Now's where you have to really stay after it and try to get this last out.
Pete Williams watches strike 1. This South Carolina program advanced to the regional championship game in 1989. They were defeated 8-4 in the Southern Region Championship by Tampa that year. Favorite food, wings. Man's got good taste. 1-2. Bases are loaded here in the 4th inning.
See Christian Doherty give it a little shake. Majority of these catchers will get the signs from their coach, but didn't want it.
Got him on the strikeout. So Christian Doherty comes up big. South Carolina loads the bases but can't get a run across. Through 3.5, 2-0, North Carolina with the lead here in Warner Robins.
Hey, what's up guys? Byron here. If you guys enjoy watching baseball with lots of friends, this is a big hit with everyone. Sliders. You can make beef, chicken, turkey, and even veggie, so everybody's happy. Here's another tip that's a home run. Earn cash back with the Bank Americard Cash Rewards Card. You'll earn more cash back for the things you buy most, like 2% at the grocery store. For more tips like this, go to bankofamerica.com/getcashback.
Imagine. She won't have to remember passwords or obsess about security. She'll log in with her smile. He'll have his very own personal assistant. And this guy won't just surf the web, he'll touch it, scribble on it, and share it. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. Get started today. Windows 10. A more human way to do.
Shavings? No! Savings!
You can't skip this Geico ad because it's already over. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
There is no better start to the day than eggs for breakfast. Except maybe eggs with a side of...
Bacon.
Yeah! Hi! Kevin Bacon. What are you doing in my kitchen?
Well, nobody knows eggs better than bacon.
Because it's your name.
Are you ready to start eating a nutritional powerhouse of a breakfast?
I sure am.
Then it's on.
It's bacon.
Regional and Little League Southeast Park. North Carolina with a 2-0 lead over their neighbor, South Carolina. Drew Felios and Mike LaValliere. Mike, it's been an exciting baseball game here so far.
It really has so far. Really kind of pitching dominant. Alex Edmondson doing a fine job for the South Carolina club. Christian Doherty throwing up nothing but goose eggs against his counterparts.
Now we've seen two outstanding pitchers, Doherty one, Edmondson the other. Although North Carolina able to notch a couple of runs in the last inning. There's Terrence Gist. He is the offensive star historically for the South Carolina team. Still looking to really get on track here today. And the heat keeps on coming as Eli Pope steps in And swings at strike one. There's a look at the defense.
Well, we'll take a look at this. This is Little League sabermetric style. They are shifting. Most of the time when you see a shift in the big leagues, it's to the pole side. Here we have a right-handed hitter, and we have a great number. Let's say almost everybody in left center field all the way to right center field.
Pope swings. He'll try and take off to first, and the throw's a little bit high.
Well, we saw last inning, same thing happened. A strike three. Catcher couldn't handle it. Here's a breaking ball in the dirt. He blocks it, does a nice job, turns and fires, but a little bit too high. And that's just how that last inning started. Got on base via a drop third strike.
Yeah, it was Dylan Pollock taking advantage of it to start that rally in the last inning. And now Eli Pope with a heads-up play. So now Christian Doherty. It seems like as this game goes on, Alex Edmondson, his fastballs, the velocity just keeps on going up.
Yeah, that's one thing. He's putting the pedal to the metal. He's not backing off by any means. And, you know, I love that competitive spirit. When things aren't going your way, you tighten the belt loop a little bit more and just go after it.
Hey, Christian Doherty, it's all where it said his favorite player, Chris Archer of the Tampa Bay Rays, one of the young stars this season in Major League Baseball. As down on strikes is Doherty.
It's the second time that he's got Christian Doherty on that breaking ball. And take a peek, looking heater, no chance. There's not a whole lot of players that are ever going to be able to hit that kind of pitch, especially after seeing that good hard fastball on the previous pitch.
Now here's Dylan Pollock. He's the guy who started the big rally in the last inning. Back to what I was saying about Doherty picking Archer, Mike. So important for these young players to have a favorite. As advancing now to second is Pope. When you were growing up, who was the guy who you tried to emulate?
Well, my guy, I grew up in New Hampshire, so I was a big Red Sox fan. It was the only game in town. You know, this was before all the cable and everything, so I was a big Carl Yastrzemski fan.
Carl Yastrzemski, wow. Pollock, strike three, deliver to him. They'll toss it down to second. There's two down. And that's the 12th strikeout for Alex Edmondson.
Well, we take a look here and at the pitch counts. If ends up happening that Edmondson throws 66 or more pitches, he's going to need 4 days rest. So you've got a little bit of, let's say, managing from your coaches as far as your pitching staff goes. Once you get to certain limits, you're going to lose these guys. So, you know, it's a little bit of a juggling act, trying to know how long you can possibly go with these guys. You know, if you go to the max, you may not see him again for the rest of the tournament.
So 2 pitches away from 65. That is right at that point. Let's see if they keep him in the game here. Connor Jinks, swing, and a miss, and that'll do it for North Carolina as they go quietly in the bottom of the 4th. 2-0. North Carolina over South Carolina. Back to Warner Robins.
When broker Chris Hill stays at La Quinta, he fires up the free Wi-Fi with a network that's now up to 5 times faster than before, so he can rapidly prepare his presentation. And when he perfects his pitch, you know what Chris can do?
And that is my recommendation.
Let's see if he's ready.
He can swim with the sharks.
He's ready.
La Quinta Inns and Suites takes care of you so you can take care of business. Book your next stay at LQ.com.
La Quinta.
So guys, you want to look sharp? Well, the men's store at JCPenney is the place to make that happen. Because when it comes to your style, we know you mean business. Shop the men's store at JCPenney. When it fits, you feel it.
I'm going to college, but also launching a new startup.
Well, these 2-in-1s come with a fast and powerful Intel Core processor, which means you'll have everything you need to take on whatever college or the real world might throw your way.
Save $100 on select 2-in-1 laptops. Best Buy.
You're looking at the original spicy chicken sandwich. Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich. Which
Robbins, Georgia. Taylor, South Carolina. Trailing Wilson, North Carolina, 2-0. Drew Felios and Mike LaValliere. There's the guy that's been doing the tough work for North Carolina, Christian Doherty, not allowing a run as we enter the 5th inning.
South Carolina made a little bit of noise in their half of the inning, last inning, but weren't able to get that big hit. Unlike North Carolina, they loaded them up. Motzi with a little base hit to right field, 2 runs. And like I said, sometimes just whoever blinks first.
David Mershon with a single. This ball's in the gap. He's going to dig for 2. Mershon with a leadoff double.
We'll take a peek here, and sweet swinging left-hander. Line drive into the gap. Godwin Deannis couldn't track it down in time. Good hustle double.
So good job by the 9-hole hitter there. Mershon sets the table for Gage Lehman. Top of the order for South Carolina, taking strike 1. Hard to believe no South Carolina team has reached Williamsport since 1950. There's a lot of years as advancing as Mershon to third base. So now if you're South Carolina, Mike, you got a runner on third, nobody out. You possibly try and drop one down here.
Well, right now, I think it's important for them to get on the board. I said last inning they made a little bit of noise, but not enough to crack the scoreboard.
Hit into right field, tough play, and over the head of Thomas Lane. South Carolina's on the board, and Gage Lehman has a double.
Just what South Carolina had in mind. This ball driven to right field. Gage Lehman, sweet swing over the head of right fielder Thomas Lane. No chance out there. Back-to-back doubles. That's what we're talking about. Actually, that was Eli Pope in right field that couldn't come up with that. Even with a good jump, I think he's got no chance. That ball hit on a line.
So now Christian Doherty, he's coming up on that 65 pitch plateau. Right at 63 pitches right now, we could have a change.
Well, he can start the batter and finish it once you get to that plateau, but here you've got to think that the coach has got to make a decision. What gives you the very best chance of winning the ball game? And it's either leave your starter in or maybe go with one of your closers.
Take a look at the rules on visits to the mound. On the third visit in an inning, or the fourth in a game, the pitcher must be removed. Offense is permitted 1 visit to a batter or runner per inning, and a timeout to make a change on offense or defense does not count as a visit. So keep that in mind as we get to some critical moments in this game. Terrence Gist now comes up to the plate for South Carolina. He is the superstar.
And I tell you, they pitched Terrence extremely well. Started them off with some breaking balls. There you mix in the fastball away and really have them guessing.
This ball popped up right side. Eli Pope coming over, and it's out of play. As you look at the dimensions of this field, Mike, 225 down the lines and into center field. And keep in mind, this stadium is kind of in a bowl, so you're getting some pretty nice wind going from the left to the right side. It's playing some tricks right now with the baseball. Gist sticks the bat out there and fouls that one away.
Yeah, nice job. Gist getting a chance to maybe see if Doherty might make a mistake. But you're right, Drew. We've got a lot of sunshine now. The wind's wreaking some havoc. Looks like it's actually swirling, so tough on the outfielders.
This is a base hit into left field. Runners on first and third now as Lehman holds at third. And Terrence Gist finally makes some noise for South Carolina.
Well, still nobody out. Here, nice job. Gets the breaking ball. This one hung just a little bit. Didn't hit it great, but absolutely fabulous location. Little grounder into third or into left field. Not quite hit a little bit too hard to score the runner. He had to wait until the ball had cleared that shortstop, but South Carolina, again, they looked like they had something going last inning, and now first and third, nobody out. They got something really cooking.
That is going to be it for Christian Doherty. He gets a nice round of applause. So Doherty will drift back into the outfield. New pitcher now for North Carolina, going to get loose. And that's going to be Chad Bean.
Now pitching for North Carolina, number 4, Chad Bean.
And Chad Bean, very interesting story for North Carolina, Mike. He is going to have probably the most interesting delivery out of any pitcher in this entire tournament.
Well, Chad comes at you from all angles. He'll throw it straight over the top. He'll throw it sidearm. He'll throw it submarine style. Throws a hard fastball. The breaking ball that he uses is a knuckle curve. But his biggest thing is you never see two pitches the same way. Coach was commenting. He says, you know what? I have no idea what's coming. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if out comes the kitchen sink out of his hand.
It was interesting talking with the coaches and the managers of these teams yesterday, and they were describing the pitch repertoire of some of their guys. I didn't know kids that are 11 and 12 could throw knuckleballs and screwballs and sinkers and all kinds of different pitches like that.
Well, again, the game's progressed a lot. I think the kids are bigger, stronger, faster than whenever I played. I know the equipment is so much better. They were just coming out with aluminum bats whenever I was playing Little League, and actually I think they were made more of aluminum foil than anything. Let's just say they dented quite easily. But these kids, again, they get taught a little bit younger than we did, and there's so many more facilities out there. So many of us players that played before that have the chance to get back in their communities, do some coaching, and that's a beautiful thing. Being able to pass what we've learned to some of these young players, and when you watch the talent level, and then you give them a couple little tricks, it's an absolute treat to see.
So South Carolina going to try and continue this rally. Nobody out in the fifth. Alex Edmondson, their three-hole hitter, with a big swing and strike one.
Alex had one thing in mind on that swing. He's going to try to get three quick ones for his side.
Edmondson has been on base twice today. So a golden opportunity here with runners on first and third. Nice pitch there.
And you see Bean going down a little bit further, a little more sidearm with that last delivery.
Edmondson can't catch up to it. 3 straight pitches, And that's a big out number one.
Well, after having a couple of base hits, to punch out Edmondson in that point of the game, just crucial. And take a look, little sidewinder. That one had a little break on it, little slider type cutter.
Now Ryan Chapman's turn.
Chad Bean just dialed into that outside corner. Little crossfire with that sidearm delivery. Yeah, I'd have to think that if this gets to 2 outs, I think they're going to have to get Terrence Gist into some kind of motion.
And he shows it right there, Mike, just as you mentioned it. Trots back to first. Looked like he wanted to try and swipe second.
Well, for the runners, the ball has to get past the hitter before they can take off. But you'd have to think that South Carolina may have a little trickery in their offensive package where maybe a rundown, trying to force the catcher into making a mistake.
Chapman, swing and a miss. So Chad Bean comes into the game, and so far he's shut the door on South Carolina. There's 2 down.
Wow, it's just been really impressive. Bean throwing that good fastball mixed in a little bit of a breaking ball.
This is hit into left field for a base hit. We are tied at 2. As Braden Galinsky comes through in the clutch.
Well, I guess it's been long enough that I've held back. Let me brag on one of my catchers here. Galinsky wasted no time. Tough pitch, up and in, base hit, clutch base hit, 2 outs. Looked like South Carolina was going to lose an opportunity, but now we got a new ball game.
And Galinsky, he has had an up and down day behind the plate, Mike. He has really battled for him to stay in this game and come through offensively. That's great to see.
Well, you know, from one catcher, I'm not surprised about that. You know, us guys, we go through adversity all the time.
Boy, do you ever. It's what it's all about. Kip Johnson steps up to the plate now. Now, there's so many times when you're a youngster growing up playing sports where things just don't go your way. You got to be able to keep your head in the game, come through for your team. That's what Galinsky just did for South Carolina.
Now they're going to appeal down to first base. The first base umpire giving it the no swing. I'll tell you, Drew, there's a lot of championships won and lost with those 2 out base hits. On the defensive side, you're almost out of it. When you get that base hit, it's a crusher.
Johnson down on strikes, so Chad Bean limits the damage. But South Carolina gets 2 big runs. We're all tied 2-2. Headed to the bottom of the 5th in the Southeast Regional at Warner Robins.
If you qualify for a Sittingham's card today, I can offer you no interest for 24 months.
Well, thanks to the tools and help at Experian.com, I know I have an 812 FICO score, so I definitely qualify. So, what else can you give me?
Same-day delivery. The Ottoman?
Thank you.
FICO scores are used in 90% of credit decisions, so get your credit swagger on. Go to Experian.com, become a member of Experian Credit Tracker, and take charge of your score.
Imagine, she won't have to remember passwords or obsess about security. She'll log in with her smile. He'll have his very own personal assistant. And this guy won't just surf the web, he'll touch it, scribble on it, and share it. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. Get started today. Windows 10. A more human way to do.
Tied at 2. South Carolina and North Carolina in the opening game of this Southeast Regional. As the winner of this tournament advances to Williamsport, that's where we are located in this gorgeous press box here at Little League Southeast Park, an amazing facility located in the heart of Warner Robins, Georgia. For South Carolina, still Alex Edmondson on the mound. Chase Waddell will lead it off for North Carolina.
Yeah, and Waddell, one of the better hitters so far, having a little trouble against Edmondson, a couple of punch outs. But I tell you what, you described this setting, this is beautiful. What an absolute fabulous venue to host this tournament. I mean, this is a facility that is certainly worthy of the great players that we're seeing out here on the field.
And it's just the first game of 4 today that we're going to have for you on ESPN3. Tennessee plays West Virginia at approximately 1 o'clock, followed by Alabama taking on Florida with a 4 p.m. start time. Georgia and Virginia in the nightcap, and just a coincidence, the team from Georgia, Mike, playing in the final game of the day under the lights.
Well, you know, it's the big ticket item. You got to have the host team at 7 o'clock under the lights.
This is hit hard to the shortstop, and it's right through Ryan Chapman. So that's Chase Waddell, his first hit of the day. Waddell on base.
Well, this ball absolutely scalded at Ryan Chapman. We'll take a peek here, and this last bounce just comes up on him. He was down in pretty good shape. I don't know, I got to give it an error, but that's a tough error to have. He did almost everything right.
And there's the 65th pitch delivered by Edmondson, and Kevin Tumlin comes in the game and takes out his pitcher, and just a tremendous job by Alex Edmondson.
No, you're right. Virtually unhittable for the majority of this ball game. Little crack here in the third inning. They scored a couple runs on, but again, the pitching on both sides has been outstanding.
So new pitcher is going to be Bradley Lewis. And Lewis, very interesting story for him. Like so many other young athletes in this tournament, Bradley Lewis, not just a baseball player, he's a football player as well. And not very large in stature, but he is still an offensive lineman on the football team. He loves to mix it up.
Yeah, and mixing it up, he's going to be mixing his pitches. So this is going to be an entirely different look for North Carolina against the little left-hander. He mixes up, curveball. He'll spot his fastball, but really he's the kind of guy that you're going to have to be patient with. He's a nibbler, but again, that great off-speed stuff.
So Bradley Lewis tries to continue what Alex Edmondson started. Look at what he was able to do in this game. The first few innings, just untouchable.
Yeah, again, just good hard fastball. Here you see the breaking ball, and just so very dominant. Is a big presence on the mound, but the arm goes with it, and very, very accomplished. I know one thing, Drew. I wasn't going to the bat rack looking for a bat. Much safer up here in the booth.
Now batting third baseman number 7, Tyson Bass.
So Tyson Bass in the 2-hole coming up for North Carolina. Keep in mind Chase Waddell on first base. Here in the bottom of the 5th. Outstanding baseball game we've seen so far. First pitch for Bradley Lewis is a strike, and that high pitch has been called a strike early and often here this morning.
Well, I tell you, I love umpires that call strikes. I think it makes for a better game.
This is hit to the second baseman. Force play. They go for 2. Safe at first.
ball not quite hit hard enough to turn the double play. Just a little bit jammed. But a nice play by the second baseman. Over to Edmondson now, who's playing shortstop. The relay just not quite quick enough. Nice call by our first base umpire. And Tyson Bass just switching spots with Waddell.
So now it's Jacob Dienis. He's had a couple good at-bats in this game. Both times able to walk, but really forced Edmondson, who was pitching at the time, to throw a lot of pitches. Really battled them both times.
Getting the steady diet of breaking balls here. I tell you, a lot of left-handers have made some great careers. As situational guys come in, throw that breaking ball against the lefty for a strike.
Missing outside. Now 3 balls, 1 strike. Bottom of the 5th. Keep in mind we play 6 innings in Little League Baseball. Lewis winds up. Popped up. Edmondson drifting back for South Carolina, and he'll make the play. 2 away.
Edmondson taking control. Ball popped up. Left fielder, center fielder, everybody converging. But I love it. Ball goes up. I want it. Makes the big call. And that's the one thing keep in mind if you're an infielder. You go get every single ball that you can and let the outfielder call you off. It's whenever the infielder gets a little tentative is when you have some problems out there, and communication is key. You got to figure the center fielder is your quarterback in the outfield, your shortstop, the quarterback of the infield. Of course, the catcher's the quarterback of the whole field, and in charge of everybody. But, yeah, I love it whenever the kids take control. It's like, ball's up, I want it, it's mine.
You just saw Alex Edmondson come over from shortstop, talk to his pitcher, Bradley Lewis, because he faced this guy, Blake Daniels. I think he maybe gave him a few pointers on how to approach this young hitter.
Well, the one thing you can't help him with is throwing the ball close to 80 miles an hour. He's probably just a little reminder that, you know, Daniels, again, with great power.
Oh, strike called on the outside corner. Yeah, very loose strike zone here in this first game. And players have definitely had to adjust a little bit. Daniels hits it right to second base. And a nice glove right there by Mershon to make the play. So South Carolina heads to the dugout pumped up. All tied at 2, headed to the 6th here in Warner Robins.
Oh, man. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Harry.
Oh, man. You got to do it like this. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, George. Hey, Jim.
Amateurs, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, Travis.
Well, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm here for you, Lonnie.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
This is a new one.
State Farm agents are there whenever you need them.
Its effects on society really came about not because I was selfish and wanted one for myself, which I did. It's because I had had a passion my whole life. I wanted to teach myself to build computers. I wanted to build these things for free. I just wanted to do it for the world. And, you know, when you want something, that's what you do the best.
South Carolina, North Carolina. Great to have you with us on ESPN3. This is our first game of the day, as we've got baseball action for the next week. There you see fans of Keystone Little League out of Tampa, Florida. They'll be taking the field in our third game of the day. This one's going to be followed by Tennessee and West Virginia, Alabama and Florida in game 3, and then Georgia and Virginia in the nightcap.
I tell you, Drew, it's a great atmosphere already for our first game. I can't wait to see that 7 o'clock game and the fever pitch being brought on by these Georgia fans. I got to think this place is just going to be jammed and rowdy.
Going to be fun. Here's David Clark leading it off for South Carolina. Final inning coming to you from Warner Robins, Georgia. Southeastern Region Tournament. Hit to the shortstop and right through him. Well, we've seen a couple of hard hit balls to the shortstop, and you almost hesitate to mark an error there, Mark. The ball is hit so hard.
Well, it was. The one thing, you just kind of waited back. You've got to make up your mind whether you're going to come get it. Here you get the little in-between hop, and by then it's a little bit too late. My rule of thumb for your infielders, if the ball bounces up high, you come get it. If it stays low, there's a good chance that the ball's hit pretty hard. That one, I want to call it medium. I think if he comes and charges that ball, I think you got a chance of maybe making that hop, just that little short hop, and make it a much easier play for himself. But again, it's all about reading it off the bat.
Sure.
Tough play either way.
So David Clark gets on base for South Carolina. Now pinch runner is going to come into the game. And South Carolina will call up the speed here in this situation. They got to get this run across. Ben Tumlin will run for David Clark.
Now batting number 8, Ryan Saul.
Ryan Saug squares around, fouls this one off. His first at bat for Northwood Little League.
There's a situation where, if you're called on to bunt, number one, you want to bunt a strike.
Put this one down, first base. They play it fair, and tagged out right there is Saug. So Connor Jinks, nice heads-up play, and there's one out.
Well, Connor had a decision to make right there, and I kind of like you go ahead and get the out. I think this might have had a chance of rolling foul, but you know what? Team gives you now. Go ahead and take it. Leave it up to the pitcher, see if he can get him out of it.
There's Ben Tumlin now at second base. He's the guy that everybody is watching right now. David Mershon came up big for South Carolina. His last time up. Had that big double to start the inning.
Yeah, he got a fastball that was middle in and just kept his hands inside the ball nicely and drilled that ball into left center field.
He delivers, missing outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. This South Carolina team played in the Southeast Regional last year. And this Northwood Little League program went 1-2. Plan on taking that experience, applying it to the next week. As Mershon able to draw the walk. Now the fans come alive as South Carolina's got something cooking.
Well, for me, that's not a disastrous walk. What that does, you got a tough little left-hander. You go ahead and, I want to say they pitched around him, but they definitely didn't give in. This allows your defense to play at any plate or any base. It really kind of takes a little pressure off your infield defense. Of course, you're looking at it from South Carolina. Yeah, they're looking at a potential another run out there on the base paths.
We could have some more adjustments here, and we will. Looks like Chad Bean is going to head to the outfield. Denis going to trot into the dugout. And we may have Connor Jinks getting the ball here in this key situation. Let's see. And it will be Jinks.
Well, Drew, if size counts for anything, Connor Jinks, a very, very imposing figure out on the mound. Right now, both of his first two warm-up pitches have gone to the backstop. Right there, you almost are hoping that the other team's watching, because wildly effective is part of the intimidation game that you might see.
160 pounds at only 13 years old.
Jinks has made a little bit of adjustment. Those first two pitches, again, no chance at all for Pollock to even knock him down.
As I stated before, sometimes 70 miles per hour seems like a lot more, especially at this distance. Mike, break this down.
Well, this is reaction time, and you're looking at if these guys are throwing 70 miles an hour at 46 feet. That's the equivalent of a 91 mile an hour fastball, which is pretty much major league average right now. If these guys are rushing up their 75. Now you're getting to the century mark, 98. 77 and above, you might as well just call yourself Aroldis Chapman, the knockout closer for the Reds, who normally sees 3 digits whenever he chunks it towards home.
Number 79, Bradley Lewis.
North Carolina took a 2-0 lead in the third. South Carolina responded with 2 of their own in the last inning. Now looking for their first lead. This is Bradley Lewis.
Well, he's squaring around to bunt, but I have to think maybe they did watch the warm-ups. Jinks didn't throw a whole lot of strikes, so he may be just around just taking.
Lewis pulls back again, and there's a strike. Hit hard into center field for a base hit. Everybody holds up, so that'll load the bases with one away as Lewis comes through for Northwood Little League.
Well, Bradley Lewis absolutely squares this one up. Line drive a little unlucky for South Carolina as the ball again hit on the line. Good base running by Tumblin. He had to wait to see, make sure that there wasn't a catch. The last thing you want to do is get doubled off there. So he had to stop at third base using that caution. But here you go. If you have this scenario before the game, you want your best hitter up there.
Yeah, there's nobody South Carolina would want more at the plate than this guy, Terrence Gist. A base hit his last time up. Oh, threw it behind him. Heads up play by the catcher. Keeping that one in play, Dylan Pollock.
Now Connor Jinks threw first pitch, breaking ball. It was a good one here. The old breaking ball that doesn't break.
Third pitch misses high, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Now right now, if you're a hitter, you got to look for that dead red, make it be a strike and hit it.
And now 1 ball away from the go-ahead run.
Great plate discipline by Gist on that.
Big swing there for strike 2.
By far, best fastball at Connor Jinks' throne.
Kevin Tumlin with the signal. Gist, a swing and a miss. And now there's 2 down as Connor Jinks pumps his fist. That was a huge strikeout.
Well, just good fastball up above the belt. Gist couldn't get the hands to it. Would have been a strike either way, so power on power.
Edmondson, that ball looked like it may have hit him. Here comes the go-ahead run, and it's in safely. Ben Tumlin takes advantage, the heads-up play, and South Carolina has taken their first lead of the game.
Well, a breaking ball again that just gets off of Dylan Pollock's glove. Little too late for the play at the plate. Almost looked like it was going to hit Edmondson, just missed him. It's a wild pitch.
Now Edmondson watches strike 1. So now if you're Connor Jinks, Mike, you've got to collect yourself. Cannot let South Carolina get any more runs here. Hit hard. And this one is deep. And it is out of here. A 3-run bomb by Alex Edmondson.
Well, there's some of the thunder that I had predicted earlier in the ball game. Alex Edmondson gets a breaking ball here, just kind of spins. He stays on it, drives the ball to right center field. I thought it was going to be a little bit further than that, but again, easily over the fence. 3-run bomb for Edmondson.
Somebody wants a souvenir out there. Gonna have to pry that ball through the fence. And it's now Ryan Chapman steps in. Alex Edmondson started the game on the mound for South Carolina. Did a great job on the hill and then delivers what could be now the deciding blow. It's 6-2. Up the middle, and South Carolina not done yet.
Well, Ryan Chapman jumping on the hit bandwagon. Nice line drive up the middle. Take a peek at it. Down and out over the plate. Good short stroke.
Edmondson still celebrating in the dugout. First home run we've seen today. And you can just tell North Carolina right now a little bit deflated, Mike. They got to realize this game's not over just yet.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Their offense is very, very potent. They have a chance to come back, and you know, this is where you just really need to keep it together. Coach, go out there and just keep you guys pumped up and say, hey, look, guys, let's get that third out. We'll come back. We've got the offense to get back into this, but they've got to nip this right in the bud.
Also keep in mind this is double elimination, so if North Carolina does not come out on the winning end, they still have a chance to play through the second bracket, get back to a championship. But still got to be deflating when you're ahead 2-0, you're leading for most of the game, and then bam, just like that, the offense for South Carolina ignites.
Yeah, they just, again, a little bit of a break. But I think when it comes down to it, South Carolina, they just stayed after it. They kept swinging the bats. They took a lot of punch outs early in the ball game, but didn't get discouraged. And I think that's a big deal. It's easy when you're out there facing great pitching and your team is striking out a lot. You're not putting balls in play to kind of get your head down, but they stayed after it, and they're reaping the benefits of that great attitude. they've used Tyler Godwin as their closer. Tyler with a good fastball, a little bit of a breaking ball, but he's pretty much a power guy. Fastball somewhere lower 70s.
Still tons of baseball coming up later on today. Approximately 1 o'clock, Tennessee battles West Virginia. And then you got Tampa, Florida taking on Phoenix City, Alabama. Florida versus Bama at 4. Georgia takes on Virginia. And the final game of the day. Full slate of baseball coming up all day from Warner Robins here on ESPN3. I'm Drew Felios, joined by former Pittsburgh Pirate Mike LaValliere. And so far, this has been just tons of fun. So new pitcher, the 4th one of the game for North Carolina is going to be Tyler Godwin. Let's play. Braden Galinsky here with 2 outs.
Last at bat, Braden came up with a big 2-out knock and an RBI.
Tyler Godwin usually in the closer role for this North Carolina team. All they need here is 1 out. Try and get to the dugout and mount some offense. That one gets to the backstop. Chapman will advance to second.
Strikes are always key, but whenever you're coming in relief, everything is just really concentrated.
Galinsky puts this one in the air. Tough play in the outfield, and they can't get to it. That drops right in there as Chapman comes across the plate to score, and it's 7-2. That was a heck of an effort in center field, Mike. Just that ball was in a tough spot.
Yeah, it certainly was. And here, take a peek, and ball, he had not hit well, but hit in a great spot, right in between, laying out flat Deannis and just not being able to get after it. But that run was courtesy. Get a man on first, wild pitch that had put him in scoring position. And Galinsky, 2 at-bats, 2 singles, 2 runs batted in, all with 2 outs.
Oh, 1 now to Kip Johnson. Strike 2. So the winner of this game advances. They'll play tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Get the winner of Tennessee and West Virginia. Meanwhile, the loser of this game will play the opening game tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Godwin looking for that 3rd strike. Hit hard, right field, drifting back, another tough play. Another run is going to score for South Carolina. Right now, the hit parade continuing.
A nice opposite field power showed by Kip Johnson. He got a nice fastball to hit up and out over the plate, went with it. Wind helped it. Just landed short right on the warning track, but a stand-up triple. Boy, and I tell you, South Carolina certainly have woken up the bats.
Right now, 14 hits for South Carolina. Mike, there was a point in this game where they were leading in the hit department 9-2, but the game was still tied 2-2. I think eventually keep getting the bat on the ball. The scoreboard's going to show it.
Yeah, that's the one thing is when you look up at the scoreboard, you know that first column is the important one. it's nice to have that middle column filled up. You try to stay away from any numbers in the third column that shows the errors, but it's all about the runs. But you're right, they stayed after it. They kept putting the ball in play. Eventually they were able to find some holes and played a little long ball, a little small ball, making some good hard ball.
Hit to first. Jinx can't get it off the hop. And there'll be another run as Kip Johnson crosses the plate. So Ben Tumlin continues to swing a hot bat.
It's been a tough sixth inning from the North Carolina team. Right now, they're just doing anything they can possibly do, hoping to get back in that dugout. There you see the ball heading into right field. Situation where as a fielder, infielder on the ground balls, you're never going to get in trouble if you start with the glove on the ground first. You find a lot more mistakes are made whenever you have the glove up in the air and then try to get down to it. It's always easier to come up with the ball, but it's all about getting that glove in good position, having that good balance.
Now it's Pate Williams' turn. South Carolina right now has this game in control. And this South Carolina team, Mike, you look at the scores that they posted coming into today. Won 20-0, 9-4, 11-3, 22-0. 12-1 and 13-4, so over 20 on two different occasions. And finally, the offense just explodes today as they take a 7-run lead over North Carolina. It's 9-2, and the big blast coming from Alex Edmondson, a 3-run bomb as we head to the bottom of the sixth here in Warner Robins.
I live in Polo Grounds in Harlem. We used to hear like gunshots every night. I lost my mom this year, January, and I lost my dad when I was 12.
Just makes me think how lucky I am that I had Harlem Lacrosse to save me. Me and my team, like, we all go through problems, but when we go on the field, like, we all forget that. I just started realizing, like, all the opportunities that Harlem Lacrosse gave me.
They want us to make it into college and, like, do something with our life.
If we remember who we are and where we come from, we're gonna win this game.
It became like a getaway for me. Like when I'm on the field, I just like worry about lacrosse.
What do I want to be when I grow up? I don't know. There's so many things that I could be.
So this beauty can be yours with a down payment and 10% financing.
Oh, Larry, Lawrence. Thanks to the tools and help at Experian.com, I know I have a 798 FICO score. Oh, well, that's the sound of my interest rate going down. According to the score alert, my FICO score just went up to 816.
816.
816!
816. FICO scores are used in 90% of credit decisions, so get your credit swagger on. Go to Experian.com, become a member of Experian Credit Tracker, and take charge of your score.
Well, what an inning for Taylor, South Carolina, as they put a 7th spot on the board and now a 9-2 lead heading into the bottom of the 6th. Drew Felios and Mike LaValliere here in the first game of the Southeastern Region Tournament. Now the final chance for North Carolina as Tyler Godwin comes up to bat. And Mike, if you are the manager, Chris Bass of North Carolina, during that break between innings, what are you telling your team?
Yeah, basically it's this, you know what, guys, we can't get 7 runs with one swing of the bat. We've got to piece some good at-bats together. Let's go up there, be aggressive, but again, guys, it's a matter of just reinforcing we're not out of this yet. Let's go ahead, let's get something positive out of this. Who knows? you know, there's stranger things have happened. There've been bigger comebacks, and that's just again, it's all about staying positive with the kids and reinforcing. You know what? You're a good team. Let's go out and show it and give them a big finish.
One ball, two strikes to Tyler Godwin. Bradley Lewis, the lefty for South Carolina, only the second pitcher this Northwood Little League team is used today. That one misses inside, 2-2. Godwin puts it in play. It's an easy play for Lewis.
That was such contrasting styles. You had Edmondson that started the game, a very imposing presence on the mound, throwing extremely hard, and now they go ahead and pass it off to Bradley Lewis. I'm a little guy. I can call him little guy. A little guy with a big heart, and I tell you, a guy that's got a really good idea on how to pitch. He's not going to blow everybody away. What he'll do is he'll use both sides of the plate with his fastball and throws a bunch of curveballs, some changeups. He's your typical, prototypical left-hander, frustrating to hit off of. But you go back to the dugout, just shake your head and go, well, I'm out again.
Thomas Lane steps in for North Carolina. Ooh, that ball caught him right off the bat.
This is a scary deal here. He fouls this ball off, and I think it hits him right in the nose.
You heard the hush immediately over this stadium. As right now, all eyes.
And take a peek here. Ball inside. Yeah, that got him. Looked like nose, eyes. Have to think that possibly tomorrow he's going to be featured a little shiner.
Thomas Lane nodding, smiling.
Tough kid. Tough kid. Nice going, young man.
Maybe a little bit of tears there, but shaking it off.
Yeah, right now he's on Spanky's all tough team right now. Got a chance to be a catcher being that tough. Way to go.
Step right back in there. And now you almost just want to root for him. Come on, Thomas, let's get it together. 0-1 pitch now from Bradley Lewis. Meanwhile, Bradley Lewis, 98-pound offensive lineman for South Carolina, still dealing. Struck him out.
And get the off-speed pitch, tailing away, just barely caught that outside corner. You get Thomas Lane. I'm sure he's going to get some attention in the dugout, get the ice pack out, take care of him so he's ready for tomorrow.
Here's Christian Doherty. This one hit hard to right field. It's off the wall. Doherty's going to make the turn for second. He's got a 2-out double to keep North Carolina alive.
That's where you have to attack the left-handers. You have to let the ball get deep, wait for it, use the opposite field if you can. And you saw that was very, very natural type swing from Doherty.
Now Dylan Pollock fouls this one away. South Carolina 1 out away from advancing. And for North Carolina, this young man's done a great job behind the plate today. Dylan Pollock blocking everything.
Yeah, both these young catchers, a lot of pressure.
Yep.
You look at You know, obviously the guys on the mound, you know, to me, they're the stars of the show. They've got the spotlight on them. But the supporting cast, you know, that's your catcher. You know, he's the guy that, you know, has to receive those tough pitches and keep them in front of you.
Pollock waits on it. Oh, you are right, Mike. Facing Bradley Lewis, such a contrast from the South Carolina starter, Alex Edmondson. It is almost the perfect mix that has kept this North Carolina team off balance here in the latter innings. That one's in the dirt and allow Doherty to advance. Speaking of tough, guy's done a pretty good job as well, Braden Galinsky. Pollock shoots this one into right, and it'll be a base hit. North Carolina not done just yet, as Doherty makes it a 9-3 game.
No quit in this North Carolina team. They certainly have a big hill to climb, but they're not out of it. As long as you've got one out, and this isn't like basketball or football when the time clock runs out. You've got one out. Sometimes that's the hardest one to get. This is the last one.
Yeah, so now we've seen 2 out rallies from both of these teams. As Kevin Tumlin comes to the mound for South Carolina. Let's see if there's a pitching change here. There may be with 2 outs.
Batting change for North Carolina. Number 12, Cody Mercer.
Well, what this is all about managing pitch counts. They want to make sure that they can use Lewis again tomorrow. Keep him under that 20 pitch count, and he won't need any mandatory days rest.
So Braden Buffington will be the new pitcher. His job very simple. Just get one out.
Yeah, not always so simple, Drewski. Yeah, just you have the reliever. You come in thinking, all right, just need one. The toughest thing to do, at least for this young group here, is to live in the present. You know, they're all thinking about, you know, winning the ball game, you know, jumping up and down, you know, enjoying it. They've got to get to that point first. They got to realize, okay, especially if you're on the mound, this is what I need to do to be successful. Let me do those things, and then we can enjoy the rest of the day afterwards. Come on up, do some scouting, hit the concession stand, you know, throw down some hot dogs, some Cokes.
Used to love the taste of a Coke or Pepsi right after the game. As you're coming out of the dugout, you've battled all day long. It's great stuff. What a sight here at the Southeastern Region Tournament. Little League Southeast Park in Warner Robins, Georgia. This place will be buzzing later on tonight, especially when the Georgia team takes the field against Virginia. Right now, it's South Carolina's stage to be taken. They just need one out to advance on to round 2.
Yeah, a nice swing by Cody Mercer. Anytime you see that batter foul that pitch straight back, he is right on it.
So this is Cody Mercer, bottom of the order. And it hit him. So another base runner for the home team.
And it's what North Carolina's wanting right now, just base runners. Keep the merry-go-round going.
Boy, when you say that last out's the toughest one to get, you ain't kidding. Top of the order now, Chase Waddell. He had a base hit his last time up. Runner on first and second. Big swing for strike 2.
Yeah, good movement on that fastball. Came in sinking away from the left-hander.
Back to the pitcher, Buffington, playing it, able to knock it down and throw to first for the final out. South Carolina comes from behind to take down North Carolina 9-3 in an offensive explosion. 14 hits on the day, and this team was very, very impressive.
Well, 9-3 wasn't really indicative of what took place in this ball game. Pitching was dominant early in this ball game, but South Carolina, they stayed after it. They did get 14 hits, but were able to really finish this game really strong. North Carolina, you know, they are not out of this by any means. They came to play today. They only end up with 3 hits. They're going to go back to the drawing board, take a little extra batting practice, but they'll be here tomorrow, and I think we're going to hear a lot more. That's a quality team on that other side. But hats off, South Carolina. They stayed after it. They were the better team this morning.
Congratulations to manager Kevin Tumlin and South Carolina, Alex Edmondson, the man of the moment. Big 3-run home run for the winning team. South Carolina will play tomorrow at 4 p.m. North Carolina heads down to the losers bracket. More baseball coming up at 1 o'clock. Tennessee takes on Virginia. Until then, for Mike LaValliere, I'm Drew Felios saying so long from the Southeastern Region Tournament in Warner Robins.